BlogTalkRadio, the world's largest online radio network.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of Player Spotlight Series brought to you by RookieDraft.com. I'm your host, Joe Everett, and as the NFL Draft approaches, we will bring you our exclusive player interviews, profiling the biggest names in the nation, bringing you the stars of tomorrow. Here today on this Rookie Draft Spotlight, we have with us offensive tackle Tyler Hendrickson of Concordia, diamond in the rough, sleeper on the rise. We are soon to find out. Tyler, I've got you on. First off, thanks for taking the time, and we really appreciate having you on the show.
Thank you, Joel. It's been a pleasure getting this opportunity.
Well, I mean, first off, I guess go ahead and give us the specifications. I mean, you are a supersized tackle, so just tell us how supersized.
I measured in at about 6'7", 315 pounds about a month ago, so gain a little bit more pounds here in a few weeks and be ready for minicamp.
Well, that's certainly big enough to play in the NFL, but I want to kick this off, Tyler, first off, about your explosion. Folks that don't know, at the Minnesota Pro Day, you clocked a 5.12 40, and more specifically, that 10-yard split of 1.78 would have been tops at the Combine, save like one or two players. But how do you get so fast and explosive, especially at the size you're at? And tell the folks where you've been training to get up to what you were able to do at Minnesota.
You know, it's all about technique, and through Ryan Engelbert over at ETS Trainings out here in Minnesota in Woodbury, he has helped me along with several other prospects trying to go pro, get everything down stat and do perfect, and our training system is around us improving into our explosiveness, and he's helped me so much when it comes to that.
Now, tell us a little bit about the rest of the Pro Day, some of your results. Were you happy with it? And just, you know, how hard you worked and, you know, how satisfied you were with your University of Minnesota Pro Day?
The most thing I was satisfied as long as my 40 was my position specific drills. I was really satisfied with that through Ray Hitchcock and how he helped me get ready for that. But areas that I was concerned in was my bench press. I only got 20, in which I know I should have been better, and I know I can improve hugely on that. But my pro agility and three-cone, which was my pro agility was a 4.7, I believe, and my three-cone was a 7.7, I believe. And I mean, those are roughly good numbers, I believe, and I know I could have done better, but I mean, I'm happy with them.
Now, a lot of people, Tyler, they haven't seen Concordia games, so why don't you tell my listeners and the folks out there how you play? Describe your game for someone who doesn't know and hasn't had a chance or an opportunity to see you in action.
A lot of people that I've talked to have seen or have said that how I play is totally different how I walk around in the normal day, but I mean, I'm a little bit of a dirty guy when it comes to playing on the field. I like to talk a little bit and like to let my offenders know that they're going against me and they're going to pay for it. And for that, I love talking to them and letting them know that every single play.
Outstanding. Now, folks, you're listening. Concordia offensive tackle Tyler Hendrickson, and I am always interested because, you know, to play this game at a high level, Tyler, you've got to be your biggest critic, and you know, it just takes so many skill sets, and you got to work on it every day. But what do you think, if you had to pick one, what's the aspect of playing tackle that's most important in your mind?
I believe the feet are. I mean, you got to have the size, and nowadays tackles have gotten a little bit more taller and lankier, but still very big human beings, in which I love to be. But when it comes to moving your feet and getting on these fast defenders from the edge, you got to be able to move side to side, and that is one thing that I hopefully can learn to do more and more better.
Definitely. Well, now, what do you pride yourself most in? And maybe it's corny, but guys like me that don't play the game, I'm always curious. I mean, do you take more pride in the run blocking or the pass blocking? Which do you enjoy more? I mean, what's your fancy there on the field?
I enjoy both pass and run aspects of the game, but when it comes to getting your hands on somebody and driving them downfield, there's nothing better. When it comes to double teaming with your buddy right next to you or getting out on the edge and making that lane for your running back, I mean, being dirty and getting them guys yards is always fun.
That's what it's all about. Now, they say it's all about tape, Tyler, so if you had to pick maybe a game or two from your career, I mean, which games would it be and why for, pro scouts to sit down and watch and say, this is representative of how I play?
I mean, I'd like to say you can look at any one of my films and criticize each and every one play in every game I play, but, I mean, a few standout opponents that we play are St. Cloud State University, another high-level Division II team, as well as Winona State, I think my best game as of the up-to-date would have been against Mankato State University. That is also another powerhouse in our conference.
Who would you say is the toughest opponent you've had to line up against over your career? I mean, just another guy that you've battled with and said, man, this guy's got game as well.
Ooh, tough to say. I mean, these last 2 years, I think that I've been, pretty well rounded when it comes to playing guys in this division. But my first 2 years, I had to go against a guy by the name of Randy Earl, who was a Mankato State prospect, the end, who was just a dude out there. And I was a little kid at the time, that seemed, and he just, God, he was awesome to play against.
Well, it's always tough, like when you're cutting your teeth. And what was that like? Starting your career. A lot of people that don't know, I'll give the quick background. You were a tight end recruit, if memory serves, and they kind of turned you into an offensive line. I don't know if you were accepting of it at first. Just could you describe for my listeners that kind of transition you went through?
Yeah, Joe, I was recruited as a 245, 250-pound tight end, usually for the run game here at Concordia. But after my redshirt year, they asked me to move to tackle, and they needed it fast. I started my redshirt freshman year as a right tackle. And I was about 310 pounds at that. Now that 60, 70 pounds that I gained was the worst, way you could probably put on, and I was not as far along as I should have been, but I'm finally growing into that 300-pound frame, and I'm loving it.
Well, it's definitely working for you, and I want to ask about being a finalist for the Gene Upshaw Lineman of the Year Award and what that kind of means. I know the votes may have fell short a little bit, but still, what's it like to finally kind of get that recognition, knowing that someone's out there watching your game saying, yeah, this guy, we have to include him. He is a potential winner of this award?
It's a huge honor, not only for me, but for the coaching staff here, my offensive line coach for sure. But Joe Long, give him the respect all needed. He won the thing and he played well all season. But it's a huge honor for any award, from the All-American standpoint to getting invited to play in these bowls and then going to the Gene Upshaw thing. It's all huge honors, and you got to love every aspect of it.
Yeah, most definitely. Now, I have to ask, as far as the player you are today, and we know you're going to be playing at the next level, of course, but what do you think, who gets the most credit for polishing you up and turning you into the player you are right now?
When it comes to the physical aspect, I would have to give all my props to Ryan Engelbert over at ETS, because he's helped me for the last year and a half, get me to where I am, and he's still continuing. And every summer, every off season, this is the guy to go to, not only for me, but a lot of these pro athletes that are going to him. But when it comes to the actual lineman stuff, I'd have to give it to Derek Branch, our offensive line coach here at Concordia, who took me over and transformed me from a tight end to a great left tackle or even right tackle.
Oh, it's tackle for certain now. Speaking of tackles, I mean, I know you got to watch a lot of film and this and that, but NFL players, is there a player in the league you may emulate or try and play like, or just maybe a couple players you really enjoy watching?
I mean, you watch, I'm a Minnesota kid. I watch Brian McKinney and all those guys, and you criticize yourself because you want to look at their technique. But one guy that you got to love to watch is that Jake Long out in Miami. He is awesome to watch. He plays the game with so much passion, and, I mean, to even be thought of a guy that could even be behind him or start on the other side of him is an awesome feeling.
Hey, he's a Michigan man, too. I mean, there's a little bias there, I think, Tyler. Right?
A little Midwestern.
Yeah. Folks, it's Rookie Draft Player Spotlight. I'm your host, Joe Everett. We are on live with Tyler Hendrickson, Concordia offensive tackle. We know it's on to the next level now, but a little reflection. Could you tell us what you're going to miss most about your time at Concordia and this whole career, or this part of your career?
I mean, coming to a small Division II aspect, it's more that we have the football family that we have is so amazing. We have these best friends that we accomplish or receive here at Concordia through football, and we got 120 guys that are the closest 120 bunch of guys that I've ever seen or known, and just the whole family aspect where you look as your coach is your second father, and you spend so much time with these guys. I'm really gonna miss that, but I'm obviously ready to get into a new family and start my life somewhere else.
Well, it is on to the new team, and my biggest question, just get a little future telling here, pre-game rituals, game day, what's it going to be like when you're suiting up for that first NFL game, preseason game, getting out there ready to tangle? I mean, do you have any pre-game superstitions, rituals you do, or what's pre-game like for you, Tyler?
I mean, you obviously get your tape, and then I like to stretch a little bit more before half, but I like to just sit down in a quiet corner in my stall by myself with my headphones on, blaring my favorite playlist, which is a pregame one, and just getting ready to play. I use a little marker on my tape, but I love just to sit back and get in my own zone and watch and go over some of the plays that will be going on this week or that following week.
Nice. Now, tell us what goals you've got maybe after you're done playing football, 10-plus years in the books. Are there any things you'd like to accomplish maybe off the field?
Football, yeah. Well, football is my major concern, and that's really what I've pushed forward for the last year and a half, 2 years here. But when it comes to off field, I obviously want to have a family and stuff and grow old with a loving woman and all that. But if after my career, which is hopefully a 10-plus year career, I'd like to play. I mean, maybe be a role model, do some sport or talking around here in Minnesota to my high school, which was not the greatest high school to go to. But I mean, these kids need some role model, and I love to be that guy. And also, I'm a criminal justice major, I wouldn't mind working out on the streets as well.
Excellent. Now, last two I will get you out on, Tyler. Tell us what you've been telling scouts. I'm sure, people interested, they're getting in your grill asking, well, why should we spend a draft pick, or why should we bring you into camp? What are you tell my listeners what you're going to tell those coaches.
I mean, I'm a kid from the east side of St. Paul that grew up with relatively nothing. I mean, I'm a St. Paul City kid, never got a look at when I was in high school, and I made my name in college, and I'd love to make my name and stamp in the pros. And whatever team would love to pick me up, I will do the best and play anything I will for them guys to make them a better team and win.
All right. Now, what's the plans, as far as draft day plans, just any get-together with the family, or just another day in the books?
We're going to have a little family-oriented day, and then we're going to have the people working out, or the draft prospects working out with Ryan Engelbert out at ETS. He's going to rent us a room at a sports bar, and we're all going to watch it together with some families. So it's all going to be a fun, close day.
Cool. Well, I've got to thank you, Tyler, just for joining us and sharing the time. Of course, wish you good luck in April and all that, but more importantly, good luck going forward. I know you're going to be playing at the next level.
I appreciate it so much. Thank you for having me.
All right, folks, you've been listening to Rookie Draft Player Spotlight with me, Joe Everett. If you want more information on the NFL Draft, more information on Tyler Hendrickson, or any other prospect for that matter, go to rookiedraft.com for all your college football and NFL draft needs.
Blog Talk Radio, where millions of hosts and listeners gather.